Could not connect to live session.
Alright, I assume Valtal's gonna either be later to miss it, but she'll get the recording. Okay. So, thank you guys for coming. Today, what we're going to do is look over the scrim, and then, so last time we went over, like, how we want to run double shield as far as positioning, and then we talked a little bit about, um, what the default, like, setup is going to be, and whatnot. So today we're going to go over kind of just palm structure, and then I don't know. I kind of want to. I made some timestamps as to comms that I heard, and just kind of I really want to get across as best I can when someone says something, like what that means, what that should mean to the team, and that it should be respected and acted upon, and not just ignored. So let's see. Basic things, especially since we're talking about like tournaments and such in the future. You know, getting close-ish to time for it. It's time to start making, like, just really drilling in, um, making sure that we do the basics consistently all the time. Like, it can't be missed, not a single fight. So we're really going to start cracking down on that.
A team who's mastered the basics can beat advanced teams any day of the week.
Yep. So supports, that would be Kitty Volatile and whoever else we might bring in. Um, Still all tracking and making sure that the fight plan is being discussed. You don't have to come up with you don't have to be the one that comes up with the plan, but you have to be the one that makes sure that it gets talked about. And then the team,
Oh,
100%, you guys listen. Like that's the first thing that should be talked about after every fight, and um, nothing else. And if you guys aren't finished with that conversation, don't even go to point. Like just sit and spawn and finish that conversation. So.
okay. Um, if our tank Trio is pretty good at pathing, so he'll most likely be making plans.
I mean, pathing is fine. Like, but pathing and plans, like they can't go hand in hand. But anyone can still make the plan. I'm not like my team ran a democratic system, so anyone can make the plan. But we as supports make sure it was talked about. So I don't care who makes the plan. Um, but as long as it's talked about is what I care about. So if he seems to be one of the most vocal people, so that's fine. If that like ends up being just what the team settles on. But yeah, just make sure it gets talked about.
Pathing and planning can also sorry, Zen, I'm just gonna add, I'm not gonna hijack.
Okay.
Pathing and planning can be hand in hand, but it can also be a weakness. You can be a pretty good pather, but be a shite planner.
Yep. So and we'll, as time goes on, we'll look at um when someone makes a plan, was it effective, was it the right plan or not? But first, I want you guys just making plans. Get that going, and then we'll refine it and tighten it up as we go. But there's no point in like trying to make it 100% right in the beginning. Like make it perfect. We just need to start with basics and make sure that we're doing something. And that's why when we talked about on Monday that the default thing that we're doing is with double shield. Like if we have a Hanzo Reaper, the default thing that we're thinking is what? Can anyone tell me? What are some of the default things that we're doing every single fight? What are we, you know, what are the responsibilities of everybody on the team?
Distance. We need close distance.
For which comp?
For double shield, Hanzo
Oh,
Reaper.
this is double shield.
Wait for your Reaper to set up a flank
Yes,
and
that's one.
and head up from a distance.
Yep, that's two. What else?
If there's high ground, Hanzo tries to take over high ground.
Exactly. Nice. And one more.
Burst. Sorry. Wait, no, not burst. I'm stupid. I'm lagging. Sorry.
I
Hold
mean,
up.
it's not the wrong thing. What else? There's a fourth one.
Or
Supports. What?
Let's see. We have distance. We will flank. What was the other one that's mentioned?
Hanzo high ground.
Hanzo high ground.
It has to do with distance. What's the role of the supports?
Oh, knowing your optimal range.
No. Shield break.
Wait, shield break.
Not only distance,
Okay, that
but
means we need to stay away from Reinhold.
Hey Zion, is that a live session? Because I can't get in.
let me send you the link, invite link.
I can't think of one because we already mentioned distance. We need to stay away from Reinhold.
Yeah, it's shield break. You, Zenon, Yada, and Baptiste are the ones, remember, our tanks should
Oh
be
yeah, or shield break.
placing their shield in a direction that allows when the shield breaks for the
What's
team to duck
the
behind cover,
DPS?
and then for allow our it should be a line of sight to the tanks, to the enemy tanks' shields, so our DPS can shoot the shields because Zenyatta and Bap are a big part of the shield break along with Orisa, and then if Hanzo's there, then Hanzo as well. All right, so that's what we're going for.
Hey Zion, is it? Oh my fucking god, dude. I hate this shit.
Did you get the invite link I sent?
No, it's sent. It just keeps saying that I
That's
sent you a Discord.
okay,
Can't
my
connect
bad.
to live section.
One
I'm
sec.
logged
What
in.
you do is you click back to home, and then it tells you to log in. Then you log in.
No, I am
He's not.
logged
He's
in.
not
Exit.
part of the team yet.
Exit.
I sent him the link.
Yeah, you X out the tab, and then you click the link again.
No, he didn't. I didn't send him
No, I've
the
never had
invite
it.
code.
Alright.
So yeah, those are the things that we're wanting to work on. Then that's just default, right? Reaper flanking, Hanzo get the high ground. Tanks play from a distance, and then set up their shields so our DPS or supports can shield break as Zenyatta, Bap. So that's just default how we're positioning all the time. And then we talked about, we play up front to spam, when we have control of the point, we play up front, and then we back up to the next point, then we back up to the next point, right? Until we eventually just run out of space, and at that point, we lose. But our Reaper will be making the flank, and he's going to be telling us the S key, when the W key, and so we pencil them from both sides, and all that time, Hanzo is on high ground or off angling doing his damage. So that's how, we're working this comp, and that's what we talked about Monday. So with that, how we're going to start doing this. So the tank should be playing to, right, sustain and play from distance. Rotating shields, rotating cooldowns until Nox or our Reaper is finished making his flank and ready to engage. He's going to call the engage. So this is how the comms are going to work, right? Reaper will call the engage, and then we go forward. When the fight starts, so yeah, that's how we are going to engage the fight. Now, how I want target calling to work. Target calling, and this is probably be the same for most of our comps. The DPS will be the primary target caller, so Reaper or Hanzo can be a target caller. Now, target caller doesn't mean that's who we listen to. It's more of a suggestion. That's who they're on, that's who they see as weak, but I want our main tank to make that final decision. So if Nox calls someone, you guys, it's fine to start shooting him, but especially if our main tank says that name and he echoes one of the DPS's calls, that's definitely who we're on, no questions asked. Alright, so anything that our main tank says is who we're on. Do we understand that? Alright, but
Yes.
the DPS are the ones that are suggesting the target. And don't put in a question, just do what you do how you always do. Tracer, Reaper, right, whatever. It's just that. So we all have a focus and know who we're attacking. Our main tank will be making the decision. So I'm expecting him to that's why I need someone vocal, and Korgmore is pretty vocal. And so I need someone who's going to talk all the time, and Korgmore seems to be that person. So and generally you want the main tank to do it because they're the ones usually with the no mobility. So you really want the target calling on, you know, someone that the main tank can at least get to generally. So like if he feels he can't get to Reaper's target, maybe he vetoes that and says someone else, which is fine. Or, you know, he can call Reaper's target and, you know, he's able to get to the target. So it just depends. But so, you know, so again, Reaper, Hanzo are the target callers. They suggest the targets. And then Korgmore makes the final decision on who that target. And 99% of the time, he's just going to echo what you guys say. So it's not like he's the boss kind of thing. It's just, this is so we have a singular point of a truth. So everyone knows if I hear Korgmore say this target, that's who we're on. So we don't have all this cross calming, right? So now we all know exactly who we're getting. Because sometimes people think someone else is important, which is fine, but target focus is the best thing anyway. But there are some things, just some rules that will sometimes veto all of that. So like I said before, if Reaper gets into the middle of your team, screw everything that you're doing and kill Reaper. Like, doesn't matter who, like, he's just that important to kill. As we've seen Nox do, he's murdered just teams, right? Because they're not focusing. So, and it happens to us on the next map in University. The Reaper gets to the side, and I think he gets a 4 or 5k because we don't kill him, because we don't focus and we lose track of him. He's just that important to kill. So if Reaper gets in the vicinity, he vetoes everything, and he's the target. So those kind of things, there are just some comps where there is one person that's just that important, and Reaper is one of them. So yeah, Kitty. So here's how I want the breakdown to go though. It's cool that you want to target call, but what I would like is if our main tank dies, then it shifts to our off tank. If our off tank dies, then like the decision making. So if main tank dies, decision making, the final decision maker goes to our off tank. If he dies, then it goes to the DPS. If they die, then it falls to the supports. So I really don't want our supports to target call like to be the deciders, because I want them focusing on other things. They have other things they need to focus on. Like, you're already and it's again, it's okay to, like, I'm not saying if you're not one of the suggesters, like uh, Hanzo or Reaper in this comp, right? It's okay, like, it's okay to call a target. So I think everyone can do it, but I'm saying this is this is like just the default, right? Things always change as the time goes on, but this is the default. So, you know, you guys flex it up as need to in the moment, but this is just so everyone has something to work off as a base. So like if you're Zenyatta, Discord are very important. So that is taken into consideration. Someone, you know, you call Reaper discorded or Ryan discorded, you know, that the team takes that into consideration as part of, okay, like, that's a very important call. That's not just, the team doesn't need to just ignore that call. Someone discorded a very important call. So that takes, you know, our Hanzo and Reaper can then take that into consideration, and then Korgmore can take that into consideration, and the final target decision is made, you know, and it just happens in that blink of an eye. It's just, you know, always knowing what is the goal of our comp kind of deal. So, so yeah, does that make sense?
Yeah, so far I got it.
That sounded very hesitant.
My man's is confused. He's like, yo, so I'm target caller, but I'm not. That's kind of what I.
Is that how you feel?
Yeah, that's
So
yeah.
basically, you guys give suggestions to it, but the final decision making comes down to the main tank. There's like a natural hierarchy. Main tank
Oh, okay.
to the off tank to you guys, and then to the supports. Preferably, once the 4 of you are dead, then the supports will be out of there by then.
Mm-hmm.
But like, let's
Okay.
just say it's like a Moira or its last fight, then it's them.
Yeah.
And
All right, sounds good.
I'll also assume once the tanks are back and alive, they'll take over once they get back.
Yes, that's true.
It's just a natural hierarchy. It's something you learn later on. We're going through target focus isn't something most gold teams focus on. They focus on
Hell no.
refining. Yeah. Like, you guys are going through plat and diamond stuff. Like, we're getting into refining basics. These are like advanced stuff.
Yeah, if we're talking about tournaments, we're gonna go ahead and start doing like the nitty gritty as much as we can. Yeah, and
Yep.
so
We're going
it's like,
into a tournament soon.
like it's we're being talked. Like they're looking good enough to where, you know, like better experiences will be like just really helpful. Like before, like they're not just playing as 6 anymore. Like they're playing as 1. You know, starting to at least. So you know, it's that brings up the consideration of tournaments and leagues, just because that's the most important thing. Is they're starting to play as a team more.
Go
There's still a
Goats.
lot of shakeups, but you know, they're starting to play.
Yeah, and once
So
we get a I think we should. What the fuck? Why is a soldier here?
um, so yeah,
Bitch.
so yeah, like Phantom, what is your confusion really? Because we really need to clear it up.
Well, well, that was the confusion. Like I'm the shot caller, but then again, the tanks are either saying yes or no.
Shot
Yeah,
calling is different than target calling, but
yeah, this
essentially.
isn't shot calling.
But
Shot
the
So
calling is
target
calling the
calling.
shot calling is calling the actions of the team that we're gonna take. So it's like, all right, we're gonna push in. That's a shot call.
mhm.
Most people
Okay.
classify it. Most people think it's the overall calling, but there's niche callings.
Yeah, and the reason why it's Hanzo Reaper, like because they're the DPS. The DPS are the ones that are doing damage, so they're the ones that naturally know who's low or not, right? So it's more of a natural thing. Um, like you're the one who's going to be on high ground, hopefully getting people in low, and you're giving. It's like you're feeding information into a computer, and then the computer eventually spits out the correct decision or a decision. So you're feeding info to Korg, and he's eventually going to make the decision off of what you say.
All right.
So yeah, you just call
Then
someone
I
low.
will be back, but I
Alrighty.
have to go for a little bit
Alright.
because my family will be going soon. So bye.
No problem.
Oh, fuck. I'm in deathmatch right now. How the fuck did a May lose to a Winston?
Alright. So Nox, Han, and Phantom, does that make sense?
Yeah.
Okay. Cool. Alright. Kola, I know you're not like very vocal, are you cool with being the secondary target caller? Or like, you know, decision maker? If not, then we'll just skip you. Is that a yeah? Or no?
He
I am cool
unmiked
with
and then
that.
he mic'd.
I can hear you.
I am okay with that.
Okay, cool. Alright. So yeah, that's what we're gonna do. So yeah, so in the beginning of these fights, there's going to be a lot of probably talking from our DPS, which is that's what I'm looking for. Is you know, our DPS are giving info. All right. And then we'll get to that later. All right. So first
Do you have a checklist for
is
what we're going off of today?
yeah, there.
We're
So where mid?
Let's see if
You
the
don't have me
timestamps
yet.
are the
You
same
don't have your
on
map.
here.
I'm gonna find you. Reaper's behind.
Okay. Okay, yeah, that's pretty close. So we heard Reaper behind, right? Again, just you know, we don't do it here, so this is just I just picked out places where comms were interesting. So here at 34 seconds, we hear Reaper behind. Again, like now we know what when that call is made in the future. What do we do?
Focus Reaper.
Yes.
Mhm.
Yep. Just drop what you're doing and focus Reaper, because that's you know again that they're running what we're doing, right? Their Reaper is flanking and causing havoc, and that's exactly what ours is doing. So we just have to be better, and we can count. Reaper gets countered by damage. Reaper hates damage. So to really focus him and get him out the way quick.
We're behind.
See, we just kind of don't care, right? He's isolated. We could all just turn and just kill him or make him wraith out, you know. And then it's a 6v5 for a little bit. Well, 5v5 since Kitty got fire struck, but in general, right? We just kind of leave him to be here.
The Ryan's pushing
Around the
up.
corner.
Reaper dead.
Okay. We heard Volatile say get behind the corner. That's an interesting one simply because this is where I want to get into when a support gives you a direction to run to and talks about your health, you listen. You know, don't just ignore what she's saying, what our supports are saying. They're the ones that know everyone's health pool. They're the ones that know the status of the fight. Like, even though we're still 6v6, maybe we're all critical, or some people are critical. So we don't really. So like, yeah, we're still 6v6, but we're not winning the fight. So if support says we need to play a little slower, like stop doing dangerous things, stop trying to go for your awesome kills, you know, and try to stop trying to off angle for a bit and let them heal you guys up, and then you guys can resume. Those are important comms. Those need to be listened and respected. So.
I'm frozen.
This is lost, isn't it? I'm down.
So there, she says she's down, and don't worry about the state of the fight. I'm just listening to the comms here. When a support says they're down, play like it. All right, play like you're not going to receive any healing. So it changes the way you play. It doesn't mean you can go and do a lot of risky things. Now, really, if a healer's down, you probably have to do something risky, but you can still play. You can still play in a way. You can still use corners. We can still maybe, if a healer's down early, like right now, we could just leave. Like, we lost our BAP. They're all full health. We don't win this fight, so we leave. Like, unless like maybe Nox doesn't have to use Wraith here. Maybe he's in a prime position to kill someone in the back, and he calls the push. Okay, we can do that, and we can make a we just, you know, it's called making a play, and you guys pincer and do our Reaper thing. But we just know that if this doesn't work, we're dead because we don't have heals and they do. But you know, in the state of this fight, Reaper, he's not going anywhere. He has Wraith. He uses Wraith. We have, you know, so that's the cooldown we're looking. If our Reaper's not in position, our BAP's down. That decision needs to be made now, whether we're staying in here trying to make a play or we're leaving, right? So our BAP's down. We are not in position to make a play, right? So we just leave. So we can just leave here. Don't just sit here and fight and feed the rest of our ult charge. Just leave. You know, it's okay to give them point. You didn't give them ult charge, so that's still a decent win. You know.
No heals.
So.
I
So
was
it's,
gonna
again,
kill
just
myself.
listening to comms, and I know it's more, we probably don't know what to do at the moment, but you know, here we are going over it. So in the future, we'll be like really analyzing the things that are going on and trying to break down what they mean. And so when a support dies, a decision needs to be made. Are we leaving, or is this fight still winnable? If this fight's not winnable, just leave. Just run away.
Just regroup.
Especially if we have a Lucio, just run away.
Switcher is meet up on me when you come alive.
I will come alive.
Alright, so tell me again, what are we looking for in our matches, like in our regular fights?
Distance and shield break.
Uh-huh. What else?
And the Reaper flank.
And what else?
Hanzo high ground.
Yes, sir. And that's the next one here. Alright. So here we need to be playing like we want, you know, we're wanting to set our Hanzo on high ground. It looks like they're going to let us for free, you know, basically. So, just know that it's really important that we just know that's what we're doing. That our Hanzo's going to high ground, so we're inherently 5v6 while our Hanzo's traveling, right? And so something interesting happens here. Hanzo meets Reaper. Alright. So now we have not entered the fight. Like we're not ready to do our Reaper engage. We're in the kind of the neutral stage, right? So a couple of things that can happen here. We can so like if our Hanzo, he didn't speak up here, but if he were to speak up, Reaper's on me. We can do one of two things. We could take this 5v5 and let Reaper duel Hanzo. We just take this 5v5 here. Reaper just stays with us, and we just see if we can just W into them and kill them with a Reaper and the rest of our team. Or we could play slow and have, you know, it's a 1v1. 1v1 should speak volumes to our Lucio here. He can go and help Hanzo in this 1v1, right, while the rest of the team just plays safe. So if Hanzo were to have spoken up and say, Reaper's on me, he can even ask for help. and Kitty should be able to give you an answer saying yes or no. If no, then you either fall back to the team or just try and beat the Reaper. Um, so if no, beat the Reaper or just fall back to the team. If yes, then Kitty's going to come to help and you guys duel the Reaper. And you continue going to high ground, and then you tell the team you're on high ground. At that time, and then we continue to push from there, right? We shouldn't just really. I really want you guys to understand. You have to wait until the pieces are in place, right? Play like a team and wait for the plan to come together and play like it, right? So the decision should be to again, either chill and wait for Hanzo to get to high ground, but he's incurring some trouble. So we can either send someone to go help while the rest of us play slow and safe, or we can do something risky and run into them with the fin of 5v5, right? But you know, just know what the plan is and work towards that goal, kind of thing.
Hey Zion, you haven't introduced the play to live.
Oh, what?
Play to live?
Play to live? No.
Okay.
I'm not sure. I'm not sure which.
I'll tell you about it later.
Okay. I mean, I assume it just sounds like it just means sustain, right?
Yeah, it's sustain, but it's mainly like playing corners, and it's just play slow, but it's like bait them into a position where it's favorable for you to re-engage at a later time.
Mhm.
So it's like use your cooldowns to bait out theirs.
Yeah.
Oops.
I'm going.
So here's where our Reaper calls a flank, and we're in a okay position here, right? This is what we're doing. This is what executing the plan would look like. Unfortunately, our Hanzo wasn't able to take high ground. That's fine, but our Reaper is able to flank because their Reaper is over here. So the plan can still get executed. It's just only half of it, but still we have Hanzo with us, so it's fine. Like Hanzo and Reaper don't need to be at their respective spots. It's nice that they are, but sometimes they won't be able to. But know that has to, that's the decision that needs to happen on the fly. But know that still, okay, the plan can still commence. Our Reaper is able to do his part. So he calls it here. I'm going on a flank. Now, Nox, I will ask you to be just a lot more vocal in the future. Just, this is because it should be 100% expected of you to do this. And the team should be listening and waiting for this comm. It's the most important comm because that's how, like, the comp can't move forward without this comm. So they should be on pins and needles waiting for your comms here. So just feel free to talk like a boss. Feel free to command the brigade.
All right.
You guys are a team. There is no getting feelings hurt here. We're all, no one should be saying anything that is inherently, like, offensive to everyone. We're just here playing as a team. We're here giving the calls that we're all taught to give, and we're just trying to make this happen. So, like, this is Nox's time. Like, you're hearing it in this VOD. The plan is for our Nox and our Hanzo to be the target callers here and to be moving the comp forward. They are the ones that start the attack. So they are okay to be vocal and to tell you guys what to do because that's their job, right? And then everyone else has their job to fall in. Their job will come up soon. Like the tanks will be next, right? Korg and Kolo are next in this. They're the ones that have to press W, so the rest of the team can press W. So their time is coming, but right now the time is for our Hanzo and the time is for our Reaper. So you listen up. So Nox makes the call here. So that's all I wanted to point out there. This is the time where you listen up for Reaper and you listen up for Hanzo. Their comms are the most important right now.
Okay.
No, you're good. I
There's a
Reaper
Reaper
on
on
the
the
right
right.
side.
Yeah.
Push on them while they're
At
pushing.
137.
Out, we out.
Like, don't worry about
We should
what
be
happens in
getting
the
their
VOD.
shields
We're just worried about comms here.
down before they get our shields down. We gotta focus.
Right. So here Korg is talking about the weakness of their comp. Can someone tell me when this conversation should have happened?
At the beginning.
Yeah, not at 31%. That should have happened when we first saw them. If not after the first, at least at the very latest, at the end of the first fight when we lost. But this conversation does not happen now. This conversation happens in the beginning, right? We're one fight too late. And so now they run the risk of snowballing us because we're too lazy to talk about what we should be talking about. So now they have 6 ults, and they do snowball us here. So
My thing isn't working.
it's paused right now.
I guess it says I can't connect.
Oh really?
Focus or shield.
Yeah.
Try refreshing.
Here, let me just shut down the. Try again. No.
Is anyone else
Are
having
you-
issues?
Am I still not a member?
No, you are, because you're in earlier, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. No, you're a member.
How'd Lamb get in?
I sent him one earlier, an invite earlier in the beginning of the VOD.
Oh. You send another one? I don't know why it's not working.
When you click on the link,
Yeah.
like the join link.
I'm clicking on the one in VOD review.
Huh.
It says couldn't connect to live session.
Yeah,
couldn't.
it's saying the same thing to me.
Really? I guess I missed that. Let me start another one then.
Okay.
Oh yeah, I guess it did mess up because it's not letting me like end the live session. It's like hanging. Whoa, black screen.
I would rather.
There we go.
Alright, I'll post another link in VOD review.
It's working.
Yeah, I got it.
Out.
We should be getting their shields down before they get our shields down. We gotta focus our shields more.
True.
Alright.
Like they.
Fine. Break
Yeah.
it.
So, just want to point out Maywall here. Nox called to break it, which is the right call. Just point it out. Don't just stare at it. Let's I will say just default to the middle pillar. Sometimes another pillar is more optimal. You guys can call that. But just saying, if we see a Maywall and someone's trapped, default to the middle pillar. So, don't just stare at it. Maywall only has 400 HP. All of you shooting it will break it really quick and save our tank, who's walled off behind it. Next, so we call
If we can
Have
halt
flux.
dragon.
Halt Dragon. Halt Dragon is fine, but there's a way to do it. It's hard. Halt Dragon is hard to pull off, but you should Dragon first and then halt into the Dragon. So I know we were we had never talked about it, so it's like fine. I'm just glad that you guys at least talked and tried to do it. But halt, yeah, Dragon first, and you know generally they're going to be grouped up. So like the halt, he should have a general idea of where to halt. You're just going to drag it in the middle of them, and then he halts, and he halts people into the middle, and they get hopefully get caught in the dragon. So yeah, that's how we should try to do it in the future. Just tell him you're going dragon, and he should halt in the middle, and he should be listening to this route review, so he should also hear this as well. 240.
They don't have shatter.
Thank
They
you.
don't.
If we can
Have
halt
flux.
dragon, that'd be good.
Yep. Let's go for halt dragon. Go left. They don't have lantern.
They don't
So.
have me and I'm far behind.
I'm not sure how. I guess we pushed up and she died last. I don't know, but she calls. She's far behind. Don't ignore that, right? Let's stop botting, right, and listen to the calls that people are making. Like they're saying something very important. They're not saying it just to say it. Sometimes they do, which is bad. But we're not. There's a lot of things that we say that just go unheard in these VODs and in these scrims that we should honor, right? And she's saying she's lagging behind. That's a very important comm. So just chill for 5 seconds and let her catch up. You know, she probably died last in Corkmore, and he has the issue of running out first. Just wait. Just wait and regroup at 6 and we go. You know, don't engage in this fight without your Baptiste, please. Without anybody. What was that? What was here?
Okay, okay. Yeah, go. Go left, go left.
Hey, Lucio, careful of boobs, careful of boobs. Yep, they're booping.
I'm going all the way around.
Right, that's the calm. You know, that's the. We should be preparing and waiting. But what happens?
Okay.
Okay, I'm on a Reaper.
Right, he meets Reaper. So now the team can decide: do we just chill and wait for the situation to be dealt with? You know, or what do we do? Because he says he has Reaper, so inherently that means there's a 5v5 on everyone else. So maybe we're in a position to take the 5v5, right? Korg does eventually like get a really good halt, which just wins the fight for you guys. So maybe he halts someone into the pillar, into the hole, and it's a 5v4, and you guys just rush in. You tell Reaper to deal with their Reaper, or at least just keep them busy, and you guys just rush in and kill the rest of the team. Or we chill up here. Lucio or Zenyatta can go help with the Reaper, you know, and we do that kind of deal. So, you know, again, we're hearing the comms and not just letting the comms pass us by, but actively doing something and actively listening to the comms and making a decision off of them. He's not saying that for his health. He's saying that because that's the plan, and that's what I'm going to be expecting in the future, and we'll be calling it out if it's, maybe not during scrim, but in VOD review, like, we didn't follow the plan, and that's why we lost. So, follow the plans and listen to comms. Alright. Here is where Reaper just annihilates us, and so at the beginning of every fight, supports and everyone really should be, when we find out their comp, there is an inherent who is my target, who is my responsibility, if anything. All right. Reaper, when calling out like a flanker or something, is generally a support's job. So the supports should be tracking this dude right here, right? Because he's the flanker in these comps. We know this because we run it too. And so this Reaper annihilates us because, and we even call it out, I think, or maybe it's the next fight, I think, when he has Trance and Reaper has Blossom. We call out Reaper's going to Blossom, but we don't even care where the Reaper is. We don't even look for him, and he ends up killing someone anyway, even though we Trance, because we didn't position for the fact that we didn't know where Reaper was. And here we don't know where Reaper is, and he blindsides us when we don't see, process of elimination. We don't see Reaper here, so he's either up here or over here. Supports need to be looking out for that. And it's not hard. Just look left until you're right. That's all you have to do. And just keep looking left, looking right, looking left, looking right. So, knowing who and supports knowing who, if there's a flanker, you got to track them. And it's okay to say, I don't know where they are. It's not like you have to know, because a good flanker won't be detected. So it's just know that, yeah, they're missing. It's like a MOBA, right? I don't know if you've ever played MOBAs, but when someone's jungling or whatever and you don't know where they are, you call that out, and then your team plays differently. So they don't stray off the path too much, so they don't get ganked. And that's the same here. If we know Reaper's missing, people play a different way. And people are more alert, and they don't play in places where they can easily get flanked. Right, so call Reaper missing and be looking for him. Don't just be AFKing. Don't just say, I did my job. Reaper's missing. I called it out. Blah, 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 blah. Follow Reaper. Find Reaper. Where you going? Oh, okay. So, yeah. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Out of votes, we played both tanks.
Go
we
left,
played,
left high ground.
Alright. So here, Korg more interrupts Kitty. Pathing is cool. It comes second. Do not interrupt the fight planning phase. The all tracking and fight planning phase comes before everything. This happens when the fight is won, when the fight is lost. This is the conversation that needs to happen first and foremost. Nothing else needs to be said. This is what we're talking about. We have to get the next fight down first before we even talk about pathing, right? Why pad if we don't have a plan? It's silly, right? So, talk about the
Ground,
Man,
get
plan
ready to
first.
use Baptiste ult.
Get out, but I couldn't.
Left high ground, wait for Baptiste. Don't get too far ahead. Don't show
They
him what
might
we're gonna
have
do.
coalescence.
Alright. So, any questions about what has been said so far?
Not from me.
Cool.
So pretty much just watch out for Reaper and call him if you see him.
Yeah, like anyone can call out, but it's I will say like for supports, it's just straight up your job to know where everyone is on the map, to at least be looking for them. You don't have to know, but it's your job to be looking for them, 100%. If someone's gone, you need to call it out as a support. But yeah, as the DPS, like as far as what we've talked about today, your job will be to call out. You know, you guys are the ones that are initiating the fights and are calling out vulnerable targets.
Okay.
Korg, and you're feeding all the information in the Korg, and he's going to echo a target. And then and whoever is the eventual like the decision maker at the time in the hierarchy that we talked about, you know, main tank, off tank, DPS, and supports, everyone else echoes those calls. Echo when Korg makes a decision, everyone echo it like we do in the target calling drill.
Okay.
All right.
Into the room, into the
There's a
room.
widow.
So again, realizing what people are saying and that it's important. He just called Widow. If I'm supporting this and no one is dealing with Widow, I'm flaming somebody. Because you know I hate it when people expect heals, but don't want to deal with the person who can one shot me. Right? Then if you don't want to protect me, why in the world should I heal you? So Nox calls out Widow, and
There's a widow.
Rotate, rotate, rotate. There you go. Going from the back.
right? No one said anything about Widow. No one cared. No one cared except Nox that there was a Widow. Right? I would be pretty pissed if I was your support. Volatile should have flamed all of you for that. Joking, but not joking. Um, that's a pretty important call. A one-shot character is a pretty important call to make. So that doesn't mean kill her. It just means do something about her. And that can mean positioning. So we don't have a Widow counter in this comp, unfortunately. Right? We don't have a long range anybody. We don't want to. You really don't want to waste May Wall on her. That's pretty important. It's best served cutting off someone down here. So what's something that we can do?
Use corners.
Yeah, right? Korg could position the team this way. Hey, Widow can't do anything. She has to jump down and then she's vulnerable. Like, you know. So he could lead the team as a main tank should and tell us, hey, use this for, which he does after he dies. Like he says LOS the Widow, but that's not helpful. Like the main, you know, essentially you have your, you know, your main tank, your off tank, your DPS, and then supports, right? And you can see there's an inherent line that gets made. Inherent, you know, like a, you know, the inherent offensive line that gets made here. And then as that rotates, the supports rotate, right? So if that line gets turned this way, right? Supports, you know, as the team rotates one way or the other, the supports rotate with them in the back, right? So now Core can say, hey, rotate to choke, their choke, right? So now Korg is sitting here, off tank sitting here, our DPS are, they don't have to be like here and here, but essentially our supports would then know to, okay, hold here, because their main tank is holding here, right? So that's the kind of call you need to make. Don't just ignore that the Widow's there. The supports need direction on where to stand, or else they're not going to know how to heal you. Because I'm not peeking. I will not. I got like my last. They had brought in my last team. They had brought in like a coach to like help, and he was like, "Why aren't you healing your team?" Like, cause we were on Anubis and the Widow's on Widow Perch, and my team dives in and just leaves me in choke, and I stand uh in the Anubis choke, like to the side, and don't do anything. And he was like, "Why aren't you healing?" I said, "Because my team left me here. They didn't get the Widow, so I'm not moving." Right? And it was totally the correct. He was like, "Oh yeah, no, I get it." Right? It's totally the correct call, because it's suicide for me to walk through a choke in front of a Widow, and she was still pointed at me. Like, she knew I didn't make it to the team, so she was just staring at me through the choke. I would have been domed immediately. Right? So might as well just sit and choke and let my team go do their thing. Um, So don't expect healing from your support if you're not going to put them in a position to heal you, right? They should not peek you. They should not peek that Widow. No support should peek that Widow to help your team. It's silly. And so don't expect it. That's from tanks and DPS. Just don't expect your supports to heal you if you're not going to help them out. So, that's the kind of thing. Nox made the call. He made that, we did know what their comp was. Did we? I don't know. I think this is his first fight. So he should have known what their comp was, but we may not have known where Widow was. And then Hanzo, actually, we could see he's on point, but, we don't know where Widow is. So your supports have to be careful. Like, if they get picked, then the fight's over. You just walk out. So yeah, again, on all of that, just to say, mind the call that Nox makes here, and do something about it. Don't just ignore the call. It's an important call. And then Nox makes another call. Good call.
There you go. Get past the shields, past the shields.
Map top left.
Window.
In the window. So, Nox says, Widow in window, and Bap in window. That means there's a 6v4 on point. I like those odds. Rush in and kill everybody, right? Don't just ignore what he's saying, right? Do something about it. It's like Widow's in a good position. We're in a comp that's naturally weak to Widow here. If she could get good angles. So the best thing we can do is kill them quick before Widow can kill us. And we can do that by like hugging Ryan because he has shield and he can face the Widow, and there's things you can do to mitigate the Widow's effectiveness. But know that, hey, Nox makes a pretty important call here. There's two people up top not on the team. So we can just rush in and kill their team very quickly here. All we have to do is really just protect Reaper, and he can shred the rest of their team if he wants to. He doesn't even have to flank, just rush into them. We have, a big counter to Widow is making her actually hit her shots. Speed boost makes things really hard to hit if you've ever gone into a custom game and tried to shoot Lucios, who are all on speed. It makes it very hard. So, yeah. Again, just don't ignore comms.
Careful your Discord.
Zenyatta. Back.
Hug, hug left wall.
Yeah, hug
That's
the corner. Don't let Widow get at you.
Yeah.
Hug the corner.
Yeah, so they call it hug the corner, but it's way too late here, right? The damage is already done.
Both healers are down.
Sigma, just Sigma. He's holding,
Hanzo's an alley. Hanzo an alley.
Hanzo and Alley. Alright. Slightly vague. Yeah, well, I guess there is only one alley. I was thinking like here. But yeah, Hanzo and Alley. Okay. And then, so that means a one-shot character is coming back through choke, right? And our main tank is dead. That should, tell you to react a certain way, right? Just means be careful, but don't, the main thing is don't just ignore that call, right? We can do something here, and don't just ignore the call. If he's still an alley, maybe our Zarya can go deal with him because she's the only one on his own point right now. They can't get one shot. So maybe Zarya can go deal with him. Reaper can go help Zarya because Reaper's on a nice wall here, so he can't get one shot if he's in alley, right? Like Hanzo won't see him until he gets there, and so Hanzo will be focusing on Zarya. Just things like that. Like don't worry about like how to deal with this. Just know that it should be dealt with, right? And be just not listening, like just not listening to the comm, right? The important thing here is to listen to the comms that are being made. Yeah, that's definitely choke, Colo. Yeah, I wouldn't say alley, I would say choke, like enemy choke or something.
Out sustain him, out sustain him.
Alright, so your Ryan calls, again, that's a comm he made. Out sustain them, which means don't take damage. Especially if you know that, if you can realize that Ryan is on his way back, I guess that's a call he should be making. I'm on my way back, out sustain them, right? Just hide for Ryan to get back, right? That completely kills the fact that they have a one-shot character because they can't shoot through shields. So, rip.
Sigma, just Sigma. He's
Hanzo's an alley, Hanzo
holding.
an alley.
Out sustain him, out sustain him.
We have no heals.
I'm gonna get Mega Pack.
Alright, like just imagine what could have happened here. Imagine if you're facing GMs here. Hanzo's an alley.
Sigma, just Sigma. He's
Hanzo's an alley, Hanzo an alley.
So what happens?
No heals right now.
Phantom decides it's cool to sit on point between a Widow and a Hanzo. Imagine if they were GMs. They don't miss these shots. You know? Your tank says I'll sustain, which means run. Or don't, run, don't get killed by the one-shot heroes. I'll sustain, wait. Just do what the team is calling to do is what all I'm saying. Like he says out sustain, so run. Find a place to hide until he gets back. We don't want to, you don't want to be in the middle of the open with one-shot characters here.
We have no heals.
I'm gonna get Mega Pack.
Keep freezing them. Good. Okay.
I'm bringing all heals back.
That was, I know there's more of King's Row, but that was the last one I had marked down. So, biggest things to take away, just make it law that our Reaper is looking for a flank, Hanzo's looking to take high ground. We're, as the core is waiting for those to happen, we're playing at distance, we're working on shields, we're working on breaking the shields, and then we're waiting on Reaper to make a call to go forward, right? And he's going to give us a target. Anyone can give a target. It doesn't have to be them. They're just the first two that will probably be giving a target call because they're the ones doing the damage. And then whoever Korgmore says is who we all echo. Does that make sense?
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
Cool. And then listen to comms. Like, don't just let someone's word just go by and not listen to them. Everyone that's saying something is probably saying it for an important reason. So just don't just let it fly by the wayside. And it's okay. Like, it's gonna happen, and it's a lot of comms are probably because we don't know what to do with what was said. But acknowledge, we'll, as that happens, we're gonna, go over it and realize and find out what to do in those situations. But don't let, really cut down on the fact that people are saying things and we're not listening to them, right? There are really simple things like our Baptiste being in spawn and we're still going forward. Our Baptiste clearly says I'm not there and we still go forward, right? Those are things that we can cut out. So those are things I'm going to be expecting not to see in the coming up scrims. So, and I will be expecting to see us trying to implement the target calling system and the default system that we are that we set up. Cool.
Cool.
Cool. All right. We don't have everyone here, so I can cut that short tonight. So you're all free to go, unless there's something